the objective beauty of GTA San Andreas' story. Now, apart from a sloppy remaster, we have all embraced the greatness of GTA San Andreas from an open world gameplay perspective and a story perspective, which is what I'll be focusing on in this video. As controversial as it may sound, I love how accurately this game portrays dirty cops, criminals, aka hoodmen, in a certain community and area of the United States, with the exception of things done for gameplay purposes, of course, such as CJ being able to take on multiple gunmen, going up to dozens like rival gangs, cops, and military soldiers, etc. But yeah, they don't try to grayify and put our criminals in the moral right for the most part. A lot of the degenerate hood acts are portrayed accurately despite being hilarious to watch, in the way the gang members talk to each other in various cutscenes. They even allude to prison rape in one scene, and other members of the gang make fun of it.
Yeah, you know Jeffrey's been somebody's bitch for the past 3 weeks, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me on that one, you can hear some nasty ass, unironic, down bad sexual shit if you actually listen in on hoodmen, especially the hood rats.
You don't look like this, bitch. You ain't sucking dick enough. You ain't sucking dick enough.
Yeah, there's plenty of more nasty examples like that I could show, but I'll be nice. I still put them over the stupid shit white bitches be saying though. Anyway, they also show one of the gang members rage quit a regular job to seek hood gangster shit and a rap career, despite just being freed from jail and being on parole. Trust me, I've heard and seen shit similar to that. This accurate representation even goes into how the gangs fight each other with things like drive-bys, ambushes at funerals, turf takeovers, and the gang members encourage each other to keep doing this criminal activity.
Oh, Beverly be so proud of you, boy.
CJ gets shit talked at the very start of the game for not partaking in it, and they also use college as an insult, which happens in real life, believe me.
I can't believe she gone, man.
That's another funeral you ran away from, fool. Just like Brian's.
Hey, she was my mama too.
Not for the past 5 years, she wasn't, nigga. And where the fuck you think you going?
What? Get out my face. I'm going to see Caesar.
The hell you are, girl. You ain't messing with them essays. You know we beefing. They ain't nothing but a
Look,
bunch
I
of
love
lowlife.
women. What the fuck are you?
At least I got principles.
Oh, and I guess that makes you an upstanding American. Carl, tell him.
Carl, don't tell me shit,
As long
bitch.
as he treat her right.
I thought you was going to, college.
Fuck you.
A lot of what I said here about gang life also spills into the Mexican gang slightly as well, like the Los Santos Vagos or the Arios Los Aztecas for as little as what's shown. Such as Catalina's great storyline where she forms a crazy Latina stereotype, along with the way they sorta allude to white trash rednecks with these hilarious yet sorta accurate character models. But anyway, back on topic. Now, a few people who probably watch too much socialist propaganda like CNN may say, "Oh my goodness, this is so racist and it over-exaggerates the bad behavior of oppressed groups." And to that, I say, wrong! And not because I have a different opinion, but because you're objectively wrong. This game is based upon real events to the point of exact quotation, with stuff like the reoccurring gang signs taken from multiple gangs like the Crips and Bloods, etc. I'm going off of this guy's videos, Real Pixels, on how historically accurate is GTA San Andreas. Although I did watch a documentary on the Los Angeles riots before watching that video and playing San Andreas, but the point is, despite the stories not matching up completely in every single aspect, the story is based upon a real life incident. If anything, the game slightly downplays it, which is ironic. Apart from a scrapped minigame, the Grove Street gang doesn't deal drugs besides marijuana, as opposed to real life where both rival gangs sell any drugs, such as crack, which infects their communities in ways that are too obvious to waste time explaining. To be honest though, you shouldn't even need the context of one specific real event to assume that the hood characters of San Andreas are based upon reality itself, in certain areas and groups of Western culture. Everyone who's had enough outside experience should be able to assume all this, unless you live in some ultra urbanized area or some shit. But then again, there's people watching socialist propaganda and treating it as gospel, as named before, instead of going off of what they see themselves outside. But, I guess intelligence is becoming more of a rarity these days. Hit me up and I'll let you borrow some of mine if you like the video, comment and subscribe. But anyway, whether you want to view it my way or not, it's objectively based upon reality. I don't think there's any complete good guys in this game, and that's not a problem, since it doesn't seem to be trying to create good guy characters. This game is called Grand Theft Auto, not Red Dead Redemption, and this game focuses on a certain area where the crime, Grand Theft Auto, is most likely going to happen. This is why I like the story of San Andreas more than GTA 5 when it comes to comparing CJ and Franklin from a partial, realistic perspective. There's no way Franklin's character would even exist with such principles and decide to still engage in crime without going all the way, instead of just being a productive member of society. It just can't happen. Perhaps it could get its own video. But anyway, before we cover the main chaotic event, we have our cops matching the stereotype as well. Mostly for the time period and place though, as things aren't as horrible as they were back then. Tenpenny and Pulaski as dirty cops along with other unnamed cops that let the gangs go up against each other, in such a way that one doesn't overtake the other, so that the regular civilians are less likely to be targeted. To be honest, based upon this game's portrayal of these cops, I don't really see the dirty cops with those protective intentions like Tenpenny as complete bad guys, especially in the context of real life, where the hoodmen still have the worst cities in America to this day. The defense of the San Andreas cops can get its own video, but the point is, I have to acknowledge that the cops were portrayed accurately as well. As shown in Real Pixel's video, where Tenpenny quotes this real life cop on top of having similarities to his appearance.
We intimidate those who intimidate others. That was our motto.
Intimidate those who intimidate others, Carl. It's my job.
I love the funny story detail of the cops not doing anything if you only attack opposing gang members. I personally wouldn't do anything either due to how hopelessly common it is, but anyway, the real life interactions between these cops and hoodmen lead to the Los Angeles riots, similar to the game with the Los Santos riots, as shown in Real Pixel's video. The real life city is in chaos and is on fire, and people are stealing a bunch of TVs along with carjackings happening, and all of this also happens in the game as well. Gosh, the last level of GTA San Andreas was so badass. But anyway, with all this being said, it's quite clear that this game is heavily based upon reality. Apart from some over-exaggerations in fights due to gameplay, of course, and a few minor story differences as said before. It's the most real video game I have ever played, only potentially being rivaled by a game made by the same company, Red Dead Redemption. But then again, I wasn't alive in that time of the Old West, but this hood stuff in San Andreas, I'm definitely around for that. Sure, I wasn't alive in the time of the Los Angeles riots in 1992, but I don't need to be, because in terms of hood culture, nothing has drastically changed. Lootings are proof enough, but beyond that, they still have the worst cities and neighborhoods in the United States, the worst family values, the most pointless scuffles of violence, and a lot of that violence is against each other. They die more to each other than anything else. I know you've heard it before, but it's true. Even the game sort of shows this. They blame the system and low financials for their low position in society, and yet they are still the #1 consumers of overpriced shoes and chains, etc. The game pokes fun at this too, since buying the most expensive clothing upgrades a stat bar called sex appeal, along with poking fun at their preferences of music.
A lot of people say gangster rap is misogynistic posturing by fake-ass idiots who spend more time in drama school than they ever did pimping or hustling dope. Well, I assure you, OG Loc is the real thing. He's hated women all his life. He's sold drugs to school children. He's murdered innocent people just for kicks. But he rhymes like an angel. And I assure you it's all in a good cause. So either way, you can feel good about yourself listening to this music.
But anyway, God bless the people that don't form the stereotype, like our Morgan Freemans, Billy D. Williams, Loc Gods, and myself. But it's clearly a minority. I mean, like, other groups have their problems too, of course. White bitches are the dumbest form of life I have ever seen. I put chimpanzees, dolphins, and dodo birds over them. There's aspects of Mexico that aren't too kind, and the game also portrays that as well. And they hilariously portrayed that again in Red Dead Redemption 1. They even had them cause the zombie virus. And Asian governments are objectively the worst. and I could hear my social credit plummet as I make such a statement. The game also portrays the rough conflicts of the Chinese mafia dipping its toes into Western ground as they go about things in a more subtle, organized way than the hoodmen and the Mexican gangs, despite still being a criminal organization. The game also shows the fishiness within parts of the American government with Torino's storyline as well. And don't even get me started on the key to all of this. The people pulling the strings and polluting the minds of my people. They rhyme with these particular objects. I know I may have triggered a few people with all this, but everything I just said was just about undeniable, irrefutable, objective fact for the most part. But speaking of undeniable, irrefutable, objective fact, this game will be a relic of its time. Current day media would rather not show this aspect of this community or communities due to not wanting to offend people in this oversensitive culture. They don't show this kind of stuff anymore in a negative or even neutral light. The only time we get this type of community commentary is when they hide it within comedies like The Boondocks, or when they crap the bed with bad media that promotes it like shitty ass Snowfall. Even Rockstar themselves sort of watered stuff down slightly in terms of culture in GTA 5, such as Franklin as a character being more unrealistically grayified as said before. With all this being said, this is why GTA San Andreas is objectively beautiful. Well, that's about it for this risky, bold video. I can sort of understand why I'll get flack because, there's no way to really say this without sounding condescending, but majority of the GTA player base isn't really smart enough or bold enough or unfiltered enough to reach the same conclusion or level of comprehension that my supreme intelligent mind has made within this video of objective truths. Feel free to leave comments like, oh, you spit in facts, or even comments challenging my statements, where your odds of debunking me will be equivalent to performing a double jump in real life. I guess people not understanding these deeper subtle themes make sense, especially nowadays with young hoodmen or Mexican kids who haven't moved on from GTA 5 to the point where they let Rockstar get away with not releasing a GTA game since 2013, be it feeding them with real life money for a grindy online mode that's nearly a decade old. But anyway, real respect for Real Pixel's video on it where he delivered this info in a more neutral, less controversial way. But you know me. I'm a brutally honest man of objective truths who rolls with the punches and says what he thinks and stands unshaken. Check out other black culture videos of mine, such as my more positive Lando video or my video on our top black gaming protagonist, along with others such as one about turtlenecks that I had to put on Rumble. Please check out my Rumble page as it allows me to say whatever I want there, as opposed to YouTube where I may be flying too close to the sun with this video. Hell, you may be watching this on Rumble right now. Oh, better yet, check out my Patreon that I've been hesitating to show off due to my low sub count, but the support would be well appreciated and worth your dollar, as it could guarantee the usual naming off supporters perk, such as Sir Raimi as my very first supporter, along with the early access to videos such as the second part of GTA's Objective Beauty, since part 1 was done around a month before I uploaded it. But anyway, thanks for watching.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.